is Cindy. I'm the tireless tangler, and you've arrived at day 72 of the 100 Days of Zentangle Project 2020. Thank you all so much for being part of this crowd. It has been an awesome journey, and we have got another good leg to go, so don't give up on me, guys. This has been so much fun. I don't even think of this as COVID-19 isolation time. I'm thinking about it as the 100 Days of Zentangle time. So enjoy yourselves for this hour with me, because that's probably what it's going to take. But we have a really cute tangle today. It is called Ribbon You. It is by Kazue Kato Ito, and she is a CZT in Japan. And she says that this, now I'm I am relaying information from the article that was on Tangle Patterns by Linda Farmer. And it says that Kazue was playing with this, with the Jetties tangle, you know, which is just little orbs decorated, and was looking at some bows that she had, and there's a picture of them on Tangle Patterns, and this is what ended up coming out of her pen. So it's lots of fun to dress up and decorate. It's very similar. It's exactly similar to Jetties. It is just a little bit dressier. It's a little bit black tie, if you will. So let's go see if we can have some fun with Ribbon You. All right? We are going to do a traditional Zentangle tile, or at least I'm going to do one. You guys may do, of course, as always, as you wish. All right? So I'm going to start with my dots in the corners. I'm going to take a deep breath before I start. Relax my shoulders. Placing 4 careful dots with your pencil. 1 in each corner. They don't have to be a specific place. They don't have to be a specific size. You can't get this wrong at all. Even if you put 1 in the middle, that would be great. Okay? Now we're going to connect our little dots and make a border. Now this is me, so I am going to be frivolous and crazy today, since I know we are dealing with orbs. So I'm going to be able to fit them into just about any string or border that I can come up with. And the funkier I can make it, the more interesting it's going to look. And this is my version of funk. Bring on the funk. Okay. What do I want to do here? I am going to cross this border behind this loop, just like that. All right. I'm going to use my Micron PN today. And when I use tangles like Jetties or this one, then I like to start with some large elements, because I like to overlap these. And this can be a good lesson in overlapping if you're not comfortable with that type of thing. We're definitely going to be overlapping in this one. So, and overlapping just means drawing something so that it looks like it's behind something else. So let's start this out. Let me step it out for you. Not that anybody really needs instructions for this, but I'm going to make a great big one and fill this loop right here with an orb, okay? And as always, these don't have to be perfect. And as always, that's good. Okay. So now, in the middle of our orb, and we can turn it whatever direction we want it to be, I'm going to turn it like this. You're going to put in the middle of a little bow tie. So you're going to do a squared off rectangle right in the middle of your orb. Okay? Just like that. And then from each corner, you're going to put a slightly curved line in. And when you move over to the other side, you're going to want to try to Keep those approximately even. It doesn't have to be, of course. It can be whatever you want. All right. So this is basically, oh, there is one more step, and that is to divide these with some aura lines, or I don't know. So I start this process by putting a line down the center that is straight. And because these are going to be on something that is rounded, I want to start to add just ever so slight curves coming out of here. This would be something called foreshortening in art. And bring an extra one in there. And so on each side of this center line, I'm going to put a slightly curved C shape. And then I'm just going to fill in. And you can do this as densely. Oh, I need another line over here now. You can do this as densely or as narrowly, or however, or wide apart, however you want it to look is okay. This is your tangle. Now, I know in her step out, she has this next part, but I'm not sure, well, I mean in her step out art, but I'm not sure this is in the actual step out where she has drawn little radiating curved lines here so that it looks like it's rounded underneath. So that would be, and of course these don't have to be perfect, which again is good. Okay, so this is your basic tangle. Now you already know, you already know that this is going to be a lot of fun to fill in. There are, you know, dozens and dozens of ways that you can vary this. And so I really want you to have a good time. If you would like to know all of the variations that I'm going to use, just stick around with me and we will see. Let me go ahead and go over shading before I get started. Now, these present several, let me cap my pen for a sec. These present several issues with shading. Number one, do you want these to be an orb, like a rounded orb, you know, round, or do you want these to be like round flat plate type things? Does that make sense? And so the way that you shade it is going to depend on how you want it to look. So if you're going to shade it so that it is an orb, of course, then you're going to want to shade in your little, put in your little crescent of, let's see if I can do this for you without making a big mess. So you put your dark spot in, just a little crescent of color there. And maybe put a tiny bit around here, and you leave the little line for the reflected light. This is why I don't teach shading, because I don't understand it. And I honestly think there's a part of me that doesn't want to. That's possible. All right. And so then you have a dark part, and a light part, and a highlighted part. Anyway, I'm not sure how good a job that is on that. I found when I was shading this that the design itself lends itself more towards flat than rounded, but you absolutely can round this as an orb. Now, I haven't really decided, but I think that I'm going to lean towards plates, flat plates, as far as my shading. That will give me the ability to focus on the inside elements in shading rather than focusing on the overall orb. So, of course, if you're going to do that, and there's no reason you can't do this type of shading and still make it an orb. I just don't know how effective that's going to be. And I can't tell you how to do that because, again, I'm not very good at that. So that is not my area of expertise, I should say. And again, if you guys are interested in learning true shading, really good shading, learn from Annie Oken at annieoken.com. A lot of you have bought her Shading Fearlessly ebook on my recommendation. Be sure, if you buy that, to tell her that Cindy sent you. And that will not surprise her, I'm sure. I have been her biggest fan since the moment I ran into her. Okay, so basically, you shade your element however you want your elements on the decoration to be shaded. And you can also shade this section in between, leave a highlight in the middle. Yeah, I'm not sure how effective I'm being right now because I didn't get all the other graphite off. But anyway, you get what I'm saying on this, and I'm going to get back to drawing my tile. All right. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is I'm going to put some orbs that are partially formed, meaning that they're going to be underneath this just a little bit. So I'm going to do that like this. That's really not under far enough. Let's do another, let's do a smaller one over here. Let's do a half one. And then we'll do some right here. And then, let's see. And this is how I handle jetties. I just start with a great big element and then I go from there. And I think I'm going to leave this loop blank and just sort of work these around here. And I think next I'm going to go to each of these larger sections and I'm going to put one large element in there. And remember, when you draw these orbs, as I try to do but rarely succeed, pay attention to where you're starting and stopping the stroke of the pen as you come around. Have your eye on the end and not where you're drawing. Okay? And one more over here. It might be a little symmetrical, so maybe I'll make this one a tiny bit smaller. Too much symmetry is boring. All right, so now I'm just going to work some smaller ones down here in between. And this is what I mean by drawing behind. I am just giving the impression that these are going underneath each other. And then now I don't know necessarily that I will put this design in these. I may just shade them. But either way, they'll be good additions. So we're getting a bit of overlapping, and we've bunched these up, which is something that I like. That's my personal opinion. I like a very densely packed tile. If you do not have to do it this way. Here, that works. So mush these together, sort of like perk. And then we'll go from there. I almost went too far on that one. So I'm going to put another one. Like that. And hint it some more. And maybe one more over here. All right, I think that's where I'm going to stop with my orbs. Okay, now I'm going to switch to my 0, 1 so that when I'm in these smaller circles, or orbs in my case, then I'm able to, whoops, sepia, then I'm able to work in there a little bit more comfortably. So let's start throwing around some design ideas. The first thing I'm going to want to do is each time I draw one of these in, I'm going to shift my tile a little bit so that the center point is going to change directions, so that that will make these look a little bit more interesting. So I think on this one I'm going to point it this way. And I think on this one I'm going to round the center and make it an oval. And I can tell now that I'm sort of off to the side, but that doesn't matter. These are going to look just fine. Ooh, this is almost a butterfly, isn't it? And then what do I want to do here? I think I'm going to make my radiating lines really, really thin on this. At least I'm going to attempt to do that, and we're going to see what happens. It's always fun. Okay, not sure that makes any difference at all, but we're going to do this one the same. And I'm going to put a slight curve in some of these where I feel like it needs one, even though I still consider that my straight line, just so you know. So I just want you to take each one of these orbs and let your imagination go nuts. I did one of these for a challenge tile for Adele Bruno's It's a String Thing challenge, and a couple of years back, and I had a big pile of jetties in the corner of my tile, and I made every single one of them different. Every single one of them different, and I just really enjoyed the challenge. Okay, now I'm going to... Well, I think I'm going to do one of these in black. Since this is kind of light and wispy looking, I think I'm going to do these radiating curves in here. And I'm going to stripe them, so... All right, let's get it done. Here. Okay. And this outer one. And I'm going to put my sparkles in about the same spot. Simba says hi. I'm sure he will entertain us with a bark at some point, since he's laying on the floor looking out the window. That's his favorite spot. Every time the mailman or somebody else walks past the house, then he barks. Because, dadgummit, somebody needs to know those people are on my property. He takes this very seriously. So I am thinking about our Take Heart video and making a shirt to commemorate this challenge with that heart on it. And I was curious what you guys would think about that. It would just say day whatever 100 Days of Zentangle 2020 on it. And I think that would be a lot of fun. So I'm going to put one in that goes this way, since anything else will be too similar to one of these, although I could do this way. Let's do that. I think with the middle that'll be easier. Okay, this one I'm going to invert. Whoops. Whoops. Okay. I was going to invert it. Now I'm going to live with it the way it is. That's what I'm going to do. It'll be all right. Nobody will notice. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw in partial lines. And then I think for the background on this one, I think I will put some of those hatch lines I like to use to sort of change up the background. And I'm going to stick a couple of sparkles in there. Let's see. That was a few too many, wasn't it? Well, once we get it shaded, nobody's gonna care. All right, so let's move over here and let's do something completely different. Let's turn, let me see. Let's go this way. So, let's see. So I'm gonna point them. All right, let's do this. Sorry to think these things through on the fly. Boy, I really want it to be on the left today. Okay. And I think I want to do this one differently. I don't want to put the radiating lines in here. I want to give it this fabric, sort of folded, gathered fabric look. Like that. And then I think I'm going to put polka dots on this. Varying sizes here. I really want to put one in here, but the law of randomness says no. Okay. And normally when you're going to do something like that, it's good to start with your large elements and then fill in around with your smaller ones. So that just makes sense. Okay. And then we'll have to use shading to sort of round that up. Then I think I want to do some more of these hatch lines, and this time I think I want to point them, I think I want to do them straight up and down. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm going to do stripes back here. If I can get close enough to get my lines to line up. So let's black this one. Or ink it. I need to stop saying blacked. It's just a bad habit. The ink isn't always black. Like I have more of these down here. I can straighten this out just a little bit. Okay. So how are you guys doing, by the way? I appreciate those of you who check in with me. I'm doing fine. Are you guys in Canada still under lockdown for another month, or what's going on with you? What about you guys in Europe? Are you guys still locked down, or is everything opening back up where you are? What about you guys in the Caribbean? In Asia? How are you guys doing? It's such a tough time right now. Okay, well, that's pretty festive, I have to say. It's very loud. It's very loud. It wants to be noticed. Okay, what do we got next? Ooh, I know what I want to do. So on this one, I am going to make my my center line kind of tall. And then, ooh, that looks like a button, doesn't it? Or you could almost do Tomas Padros's emo balls like this too, but we won't get started with that. Okay. Then I want to... What do I want to do? Something completely butterfly-like and different. And then, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk a line right here. I'm going to do the Tangle walk the line. And even though the top of that tangle is wavy, it's going to work here too. If you want to see that video, I will try to put a link right up here for you. I'm just rounding off the tips, putting ink in all of these little black spots, or in all of these little blank spots. Oh, goodness. Now I'm going to do that again over here. Just walk the line. I really love this tangle. It's going to be on my list of fun things to do when I get done with this project. All right, now I'm going to go over here and ink all the little interstices, which means the little blank spots. Let's zoom in a little bit in hopes that I can show you that without going in out of frame. This type of thing is one reason I knew that walk the line tangle was something special, because you can literally put it in anywhere, which is cool. In fact, you can literally put it anywhere. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to fill in the rest of this with them and see what happens. I'm going to walk the line. And just do it all the way around. Next time, maybe I'll put an orb in the middle and do this all the way around. But then we're sort of losing the whole bow tie or ribbon sort of theme. That's okay. That's what experimentation is all about. Nobody around is going to yell at us unless the pattern creator comes by and said, "What have you done?" I don't think so. The pattern creator, Melissa Bruce, for the very first tangle we did, Zen Wheel, came by and saw the video and was just thrilled that you guys were doing her tangle. So when you post your art to Instagram, don't forget to tag the pattern name. All right, but really, tagging me is the most important thing. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Okay, well, that's definitely interesting. Next time, maybe I'll turn this upside down and do it the other way. That might be more effective. Anyway, okay, the next one. Next biggest is where I'm going next. So I want to do this way, I think. So you're really rounding these. I will do my hatch lines, but I think I'll turn them this way so they don't match. Whoops, sorry. So they don't match what I've got going on over here as far as the direction that they're turned. See, what else can we do? Oh, I know one thing I want to try. kind of pretty. Now this can be a ribbon tangle if you want. Just set up your orbs like this where they are one after the other. Didn't do a very thorough job over here. There, I think that looks much better. Well, it's a little bit better. Okay, now the only downside to doing blacking the edges of these is that if you were planning on blacking in between these, which I have already started, then that's going to get lost. So, you know, what I will probably do is put some tiny little orbs in here instead of trying to black and go from there. Okay. All right, so moving on. Let's do this way. And this time I want to try a square instead of a rectangle. And let's see. And then what? Okay, all right. So I think I'll leave that one there for now. And let's see, this is going this way, so let's turn, let's say let's just make this the bow. And pretend the rest of that is in there. What else can we do? I'm gonna do another circle. I like those because they make the bows look really tightly pleated. Okay, and then I think I'll stripe this. So it's very relaxing to just sit around and think up variations for this design. I think that's lots of fun. And when you get down to the small ones, you can just make those blank orbs. It's going to work too. Let's put a few more in here. have to fix the blacking as soon as I am done so that I can move it out of the glaring light and see exactly what I missed, which is usually a lot. So this is cute. I like that one. And you still have a ribbon going on, don't you? At least I do. Okay. All right. Where else have I missed? You just keep moving around the circle here. Okay, it's a square. Don't be crazy with me. I'm just going to connect these by rounding and inking in between them. And I think I've got most of my spots here. There's one. Haha. So see what my wacky border gets me, and the way that I put the big loops in, it makes a difference. Okay, I may come back in and stripe either this one or this one. I haven't decided. I really need to be a good girl and leave the basic elements somewhere in one of those big ones. And so we'll see what I end up with. Now I'm going to shade everywhere where these overlap. I will put color on the bottom. And so what I normally do with this kind of a situation is I shade around the largest elements first, and then I move down to the next largest, whichever ones are on the top, then I start shading around those. And by the time you get down to the little ones, the shading's pretty much taken care of for you. So, okay, this is where I'm going to leave you today, guys. It has been a long one, but a good one. I hope you have enjoyed Ribbon You. And I'm going to see you tomorrow for day 73. Thank you guys so much for being with me.